Welcome to Here's the Deal, the show where we educate, elevate, and inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs. Let us tell your story through video. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Chris Flowers, host of Here's the Deal, and we are wrapping up our three-part series of keeping the main thing the main thing. This is episode number 3, and just to kind of recap on what we talked about the first couple episodes, we were talking about how keeping the main thing the main thing. You know, it's very hard for entrepreneurs. We're trying to build a business. We're trying to, live the dream. We're trying to do what we were gifted to do, and along with that can come noise and distractions and shiny things, and you know, and we talked about diversifying revenue streams, but doing it smartly. Okay, it's a good thing to diversify revenue streams, but it's got to be pointed towards the main thing. Okay, what you got in business for to begin with. All right, so definitely recommend doing it. But if you're not brilliant at the basics, okay, if you don't have this thing dialed into where it's flowing along, and then you want to diversify the revenue stream, that's fine. But if you're not quite there yet, then you definitely need to stay focused on the main thing. I don't care how shiny it looks. I don't care. Oh, we can make a lot of money doing this. But then if you lose focus, okay, and get distracted and you start going off course, it's harder to get back to, the main thing. So you try to create, simple filters for your decisions. Does what I'm about to do serve the main thing? Okay. That's a simple filter. Like me, I'm doing podcasts. I do, video creation, right? Well, I got a little more sidetracked with the video content stuff than I was with the podcast, which is, it all ties in. It all ties in together. It does help the main thing, but at the same time, I got a little too focused on that. So I had to start making sure, okay, let's keep the main thing the main thing. Right now, like I said, there are business owners that that you're going to come across opportunities. Hey, there's this new thing we're doing, and yeah, like I said, if it's not driving towards what you got in business to do to begin with, it's not for you. Okay, you have to let that thing go until, like I said, your business is up and running to where you can maybe take a look at something. But everything you do should be, focused more towards that. Keep your core clients at the top of your mind. Okay, you know, so what they actually need from you right now is what you need to be focused on. All right, it's all about the clients. Okay, and you definitely, if you start losing focus on your main clients, they're going to lose focus on you really fast. So there are other choices out there. There are other people that do what you do. Okay, if you want to keep the reason why your clients are your clients is because of you. And if they're not getting that, if they're not getting that service from you, they're going to go somewhere else. And 2024, the Relay RKI survey shows owners are often 42% overconfident in their cash flow control, yet 91% report actual cash flow issues during the year, and 62% say that those issues hurt growth directly. That was from Investment News. So staying focused on your core model and the clients reduces the complexity, improves the forecasting, and keeps your finances grounded in reality. Okay, reality, not what you think they ought to be, not what you're hoping for. But if you're staying focused on the core model, keep focused on the clients, the numbers will be right. Okay, so what happens when you lose focus? If you have a team, say you have a team of people, say it's not just you, okay, and you got a team of people, the one thing Steve Jobs always talked about, okay, was that he everybody bought into the dream of what Apple was, right? So if you start losing focus on the dream of what your company is supposed to be, your team's going to get confused. And if they don't know what the priorities are, things just get scattered. I mean, there's no clear message, there's no clear direction. So people are going to, the wind's going to start blowing everybody the wrong way. And then who suffers? Not only do you suffer, you're going to suffer loss of revenue, but your clients suffer. Okay. So if you care about your clients at all, okay, the brand you work so hard to build, you're going to want to stay focused on that. All right. Then it says here, recent CB Insights breakdown find 13% of startups failures happen because companies lose focus, chasing chasing mismatched ideas and stretching beyond the niche too fast. Okay, so obviously without the clarity, you're going to risk that mission drift, like we talked about. You're going to be putting all your energy into something, okay, that is not the main thing, and it's gonna, like I said, you only have 24 hours a day. You only have so much energy. You start going, all these different directions, and you're not gonna be able to pull it together. I mean, look at Elon Musk, okay, rich man of the world, Tesla, SpaceX, the whole thing, X. When he got off into politics, which was not his thing, okay, what happened? The company started losing focus, and he said, "Okay, enough's enough. Let me get back to doing what I do." Okay. I already showed you guys where you guys are jacking this whole thing up. Okay. I did my job. Okay. I'm out. Got to get back to doing what I do. He got back to doing the main thing. All right. So, you want to make sure that, because, you're staying focused on your clients, the more focused you are on your clients and taking your clients' needs, what are they going to do? They're going to refer you to other people. So I said, make sure that you keep them top of your mind. You do, I mean, you do want to pivot, okay, and you do want to innovate, and you do want to expand. Like I said, I got sub shows for this that I'm gonna do eventually, but not until this one really takes off and is where I want it. I was gonna do another sub show. Me and my business coach Eric were gonna do a show. We did one called the EC Life, where we're going behind the scenes of the life of an entrepreneur. We're trying to give it to you real, good stuff. Just to show people, hey, it ain't all sunshines and rainbows, but it ain't half bad either, right? But we wanted to give you like the real stuff behind being a business owner, and the things you're gonna have to go through. But my podcast was not where I wanted it to be yet. In theory, sounded great, but you know what? And then I had to say, you know what? I got to kill it. I got to kill it because, and of course, he's my business coach. He agreed. So he's like, yeah. I think you were biting off a little more. You can chew there. So, but don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to expand. Um, just don't abandon your why. You got into business for a reason. You got into, ownership for a reason. Okay. Don't abandon that. That's what drove you. That's what got you out of the corporate life, or that's what, made you get up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and, do the research and do the work, or, get up and, start working on, the vehicles or whatever it was your passion was. You know what I mean? Don't lose sight of that. Don't lose sight of that. Okay. I was in the military, so you have snipers in the military, very precise. Everything's precision. Everything's, it's not a shotgun. Okay. And, shotgun has its effectiveness. Okay. But, it's not going to always hit the target quite the way you want it to hit the target. Right. So staying that level of focus on the main thing, it's going to pay dividends later on. And then you can diversify and you can go out there and do your thing. And different, like I said, I will have other subsets of this show. Okay. Doing various different things, more to come on that, but not until I get this thing really super focused and dialed in. Okay. So just want to, kind of get on that. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. It's Delatte's 24 margin plus study highlights how companies are moving from a broad cost cutting to a targeted strategy in tech, obviously generative AI, for better alignment and more capabilities. Delatte's insights useful diversification efforts, new offers, channels, and clients to support, not overshadow, their central values and their propositions. Okay. So again, companies are doing it. You can do it, but not until your business is really humming along, motoring along. Okay. It's gotten a rhythm. And that's one thing I know. Eric coaches us on, my business coach. If you ever want to sell your business, okay, your business has to be able to run without you being present. Okay. Because if your business is totally reliant upon you, Okay. When you go to sell it and you're not there anymore, then it's not going to perform as well as it performed while you were there. Okay. You got to get to a point where your business can still motor along. You could take a week, 2 week vacation. You can be gone for a month, and you got the processes in place. You have the personnel in place to keep the thing running. And that's when you know you got a proper business. And that's when you know you got a business that's worth selling, number one. But also, that's when you know, okay, I got this in place. It's running. It's cranking. I got the personnel in place. Charlie's going to manage a joint. Everything's good. Susie's going to, got things covered. She's the ops manager. She's great. I am going to step out and do this thing. But like I said, it's got to tie back into, what you're doing, So, just want to say, have this call to action, for you guys. Say, what is your main thing right now? Okay. And I did this in the last 2 episodes as well, but I'm going to keep coming back to this. It's like, what is your main thing right now? Okay. Mine is this podcast, and mine is creating video content to tell people stories. That's all I'm focusing on. I'm not focusing on sub channels. I'm not focusing on other story. It's like I said, I'm going to focus on this podcast, telling people stories and creating content for people. That's all I'm going to be focused on, like a laser now. But if you think about it, and if you're honest with yourself, this is where, like I said, being an entrepreneur, you got to really be honest with yourself. And if you're not being honest with yourself, you got to have enough people around you that are willing to tell you the truth. Not what you want to hear, but they're willing to tell you the truth. Okay. And not a lot of people want to hear that. Not a lot of people can stomach that. But if you're going to be a real entrepreneur, you got to have somebody. You got to have a business coach, your spouse, somebody's got to be able to tell you, hey, you're screwing up. Hey, you're losing focus. Hey, I know my wife told me too. She's like, where are we going? What are you doing? She's not afraid to tell me anything. So, she's like, hey, what are you doing? Where is this going? Okay. When I was in banking, I got sidetracked by politics and running for office, and that went way off the reservation from where I was from. All right. So, and that hurt. That hurt the business. I said, you think I would have learned that the first time, right? Yeah. It wasn't quite as severe, the second time, when I got a little sidetracked from this, but I was able to turn around course really fast. But at the same time, you can lose it. You can lose control. It's like black ice, man. You can lose control really fast. So stay focused on, look for the things that are pulling you away from the main thing. Okay. And then axe those as fast as you humanly can. Okay. And is there something that you can delegate, something you can pause or delete to get yourself recentered on your business? Okay. I had to do, like I said, I had a couple, sub shows working, things like that. It's like, you know what? I gotta kill this. I can't do this right now. Here's the deal. It's not where I want it to be. Everything else is on the back burner right now. So you got to ask yourself a question, what's your main thing? Who's your core clients? And how are you going to best deliver for them? Okay. Be honest with yourself. Be able to, be real about it. Because if you're not, you're only fooling yourself. You know what I mean? You got to review your revenue mix. We talked about this in the last episode. Also, you got to review your revenue mix. If you got a single client or a sector that's contributing more than 25% of your total revenue, you're going to have to reduce that. Okay. You are going to have to, diversify your customer base. Like I said, we talked about it in the last show. If you got one client, if you got that one DOD contract or Walmart, or I was talking to a guy in the gym this morning and, he sells on Amazon, but Amazon's killing him. They're killing him on the fees. And it's like, man, you got to find another distribution channel because they're killing them, So that's when you do have to make sure your diversification is right. Yeah, you don't have to diversify your products or your services, but you got to make sure if you get that one client or if you got that one distributor, and they decide they're going to change terms on you, then you're stuck. Okay. So that's when you definitely got to diversify. If something's generating more than 25% of your revenue, that's when diversification really comes in. But that's geared more towards either a contract or one client or one distribution channel, not so much so you can have that main focus on that particular service that you do. Um, and then, like I said, just audit your recent initiatives and do they support the core purpose? There's opportunities and there's distractions. So you got to make sure you're able to, to navigate that. And, like I said, it's okay to say no. Okay. You got to remember, you're in charge. This is your thing. Okay. You did this. You got into business, your spouse, whatever, you know, you did this. Okay. So it's okay for you to say no to something. Okay. People sometimes will ask me to, you know, I, do some, I still do lending on the side because I did commercial lending for like 30 years and I still have a lot of contacts. Every once in a while, I'll look at a deal. I'll take a look at it. Okay, yeah, it looks pretty decent. And I'll hand it off to a friend of mine, get paid, in the back end, things like that. I'll broker it out. But they're like, hey, if I start getting 2, 3, 4 packages, I'm like, okay, nope, I'm not in that business anymore. Sorry. You know what I mean? I'm gonna turn that down. Unless it's something iron. Like I look at it and say, damn, that's a pretty damn good deal. Okay. I may take that on, but I'm not spending any, if I like taking more than 25% of my time, then I'm no. If it's gonna be pull me away from the show or creating content for people, then I'm not doing it. I don't care what it pays out because I have to stay focused on this. This is the main thing for me. So don't be afraid to say no. Okay. As always, appreciate you listening. If you're not a subscriber to the YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link will be down below. Also, if you want to see past episodes of Here's the Deal, like I said, when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can watch all the past episodes. Great content, great guests. You got to see the phenomenal guests I've had on the show. Great business providers. And also, if you have a story to tell and you want to be a guest on the show, links below. Okay. Just hit the link, schedule with me. We'll talk about it. If I think you're a right fit for the show, we'll get you booked on. Okay. So that's it. That's the deal. Okay. Episode 3. Keep the main thing the main thing. Okay. And I'm out. Here in closing up the show, and here's the deal. Just want to give all honor, glory, and praise to my Lord Jesus Christ, who, saved my soul and gives me the ability to do this show. Without him, I couldn't do anything. Also want to give thanks to my family. My wife, my kids support me doing this and, backing me up. I couldn't do any of this without them also. Got to thank the sponsors, of course. Everybody that, supports the show. And, of course, the fans, the people that subscribe to the show. I wouldn't do any of this without you because it wouldn't be a show. So just want to say thank you all very much. Continue to, educate and elevate. Get out there, pursue your passions, pursue your dreams.